So I just tried to make a live stream. We cut out just as it started. So second attempt. I was saying as it was starting just before that my mental health has been giving me a hard time today with the live streams, because live stream earlier this morning, early afternoon, round midday, and face. My brain has been throbbing for weeks as we speak. We'll have to go double rolling paper. They're stuck together. Yeah, my brain has been throbbing for weeks, and I was experiencing it this morning, and it was after a really challenging night. I've been doing my best to stay calm, and I've somehow been edging closer and closer to I don't know what you would call it, stability, or just the general mindset of staying calm, of this change. And I've come from such a, how would I describe it, dense energy, a place, and I'm aiming to elevate my mood, elevate my emotions, my mind, my life, really clean myself on all levels, or where it's possible in the process. And it's a challenge. You can't just change overnight. I mean, you could if you put in the work, but that wasn't how I got to that place. I mean, like, preparing to change. It sort of just happened, and I'm doing my best, and I'm doing well, considering I've got a lot of grace coming my way in terms of allowing it to happen, because I've woken up like this morning, another morning, and it's like real serious stuff I'm carrying. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. Ignore that, you know that. Look at me. What I wanted to talk about was just the present moment. And virtue of my mental health trying to inflict it upon me, or me coming to the realization on my own accord. In other words, sometimes mental health guides me in a positive way. Sometimes it doesn't just all the time. And of the past few days, my mental health has been really bad. The voices, I speak voices like, you'd sound possessed, but it's the exact opposite. It's to zone out. And I'm alone, so but sometimes they get a bit too much. Sometimes the narrative, like what I made the live stream about this morning, it's just like constantly arguing and fighting. It's like I've got two different sides at the moment. One's my family and one's the secret services. The good guys, and the secret services are the bad guys, but in my mind, they're both as bad as each other. In fact, yeah, no, they're just both as bad as each other. Sure, from once upon a time of love that I can never deny, and I don't know that of the secret services that are harassing me. And it's really annoying because I can't shut them up unless I'm really, really focused 24 hours a day, which is just not my nature and not really feasible with my life, or out in public. They're not going to go away. They're there. I've tried to tell them to go away before and it just doesn't happen. And it's playing and I'm half awake. Sometimes I'm fully awake, other times I'm off in PTSD trauma land, other times. And I caught it the other day and I was like, bloody hell. I don't know what's worse, the element of fighting, because that's the main narrative to the stories as they've played out over the year. Fighting and arguing. Who can win? Who's going to lose? And I'm like, give me a gun. I'm happy to lose. You know, I don't want to be winning if this is the game. But either way, it's real. And the second thing is, it's like, after a while, I get sucked into it. And I'm like, I turn around and I'm like, at what point did my family become the good guys? And it's really sickening when you're essentially being mind controlled for whatever reason, even if it's something, a loose wire upstairs. That's what it is. It's really sickening when you catch yourself and you find your mind, your energy, your body is all wired to seeing the world a specific way. And if you take a second and you're like, actually, that's not what I believe. How is it that I can feel emotions in my veins about X, Y, and Z when I'm ice cold towards it? Imagine something in your life that you're just emotionless to because it's just been repetitive and beaten out of you, and the most horrible experience or the most boring experience, and like you just don't really give a flying S about it. And that's, you know, that's who you are. And imagine you go to the same scenario one day and all of a sudden you've got like an emotion says something that makes you feel something and you're like, what the hell is going on? It's a bit like that. This is quite sickening when it's people you don't know, like the Secret Services, and it's quite sickening when it's your family that you've had to cast away because of the supposed atrocities you see they've put you through. But what's come of it is somehow the other day I caught myself and I don't know if it's as a result of the change that I've been trying to make within myself, but it's almost like I blame people for my problems, but I know there's a perspective where I can look at my problems and I can see them as chance. Left shoulder. My mental health takes responsibility and tells me a story about this shoulder, how it's hurting, why it's hurting, and it imprints it. It takes control of it. But it's also means to work through. So in other words, when I get told the story about my left shoulder hurting, I might be in that story for the next year, 2 years, but at times. I've realised of late that, in all honesty, it might just be my body. It might just be my body, and my mental health is doing its best to keep that pain from getting worse. And what I mean by that is, if you're alone in the world and you're in pain, and you really need help, if my mental health is taking responsibility for it, at least I've got someone to shout to. I've got reason to shout. I've got reason to get angry. And I realised that. And I started noticing my body and my mental health trying to take responsibility for it. I'm alone. I'm alone. And it's really been coinciding with what's been happening in my life anyway, but where today has been so hard, I haven't had a chance to just I want to say breathe, but I haven't had a chance to breathe in a long time. Yesterday was about the most I've breathed in a long time, in terms of just feeling okay with life in any way. But just a moment, just a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, I haven't had that. I don't. My life is like, wake up, boom, 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 boom. You're at war. You've got to fight your mental health. You've got to fight your physical health. We'll see how it goes with the changes that I've been trying to make. See if it changes in any way. But there's been a feeling in the background of an aloneness, like I think it might be due to the change that I've been trying to make, because with that change, I'm taking responsibility. I'm growing up. I'm saying to myself, the Andreas we all once knew has died. We're never going to have that experience of life again. And in all honesty, that's why I decided to change my name, because it's helpful to that realization that I'm not going back, and I need to be alert. Things are serious. I have to say to myself, my life is now about work and service to humanity. I'm sure I could do it with keeping my old name. It's hard enough as it is already. I'm alone in this world for all intents and purposes. I have no contact. I shamefully have contact with my family. Have that love for them anymore that I once did. However much memories of the past might come to mind, it's done with. Any relationship going forward ultimately look different. For that reason, there's no reason not to, if it makes my life easier. So I've been saying to myself, I'm alone, when the voices have been telling me stories and bothering me. And I've just come back to the boat now. And with what my mental health was trying to do with the live streams this morning, whereby it was like, you can't make these live streams interest you. You can't think. How are you going to make a live stream if you can't think? Yeah. My mental health is really that bad. Really. But that added to the aloneness, because these are a certain level of connection to the world. I know with my mind in the right place, my life not so much of a bother. That's not the situation. That's not what I look for in these live streams, other than possibly now. Because what's going on with me today, the way my mental health has taken control, it just creates that unpleasantness. And in all honesty, I'm put in that place of feeling like I need connection, feeling like these, when really they're not. And really that's not why I make them. And really that's not what in any way I want to create towards them with. It's not healthy. But I can't not be honest with myself in the moment and say, I feel alone. I feel alone to life. And it's hard. If I was healthy, wouldn't be so much of a problem. Love that bit with my teeth. F the world. They've all done me wrong. The collective psychosis this, the collective psychosis that, etc., etc. But that's not my position. My position is that I am struggling with my physical health, my mental health, to a lesser extent. And having the shoulder to cry on, someone to speak to, in this place that I've just been backed into for months on end, is undeniable. And the whole point is really where I'm at now, is to see that aloneness. I felt it so many times of the past year and a half or so. And I know it, and I know it's something to be wary of, and I know it's something that can be crippling in the wrong instance. And the best way I know how to deal with that is to be honest. And the hope is that as I come into more of a place of service to the, as I fight through these challenges over the coming 6 months, a year, reshaping myself along the way constantly, freedom that I'll find within that will be an alone freedom. And an alone freedom to reality, to the reality that holds us all. And the more I'm truthful, the more I'm aware of that reality, the more I'm know it or not. That in this world is connection. And mental health wants me to feel like what I just true, doesn't have meaning, doesn't have value. But what it is, I'm really weak on a mental level. Advantage of me when I'm in a place of emotional turmoil. But I know it's the truth. What is the point of anything if we don't have presence in the moment to live life for ourselves? And we constantly have to have half our brain shut down. Has come on board to guide us through our struggles. And in that process, we're not really conscious. We're struggling, we're suffering. It's almost like we're so close on one level as humanity from my life. This is what it's like from my current spiritual understanding. It's like we're so close on one level, but we could be here for the longest of times. And in this place, we all go to see the devil. We all spend 40 nights and 40 days, however many Jesus was meant to have done. We all do that together, collectively, individually, mostly silently. I'm not alone. I mean, I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. I'm suffering my physical health. My mental health is taking. I'm creating a scenario where I'm experiencing a loneliness. And it's a case of I'm not sure. I know what I said then was true. But if it's true for me, it's possible that it's true for others. It's like, what are we doing? When meaning gets removed from interaction, no matter how much you talk to people and your friends and loved ones, you're going to be alone. And if it can be done to me, it can be done to others. How much longer are we going to have to suffer alone because of the outside? We all know we know, but this world just isn't the place where knowing, I know within me as a human, that you know within you as a human, and we can just be. At least here in the West, the busy parts of the world, that's not possible. At least not for me, not with my challenge. I want to know that we're okay together. Until then, what we're doing, we're just making ourselves suffer, aren't we? I don't want to suffer anymore. This place isn't nice for anybody. But the weekend tomorrow, Saturday, when whatever's been going on for me today normally gets worse, we have helpful Saturdays where people come and try and teach on spiritual levels. Or else we need to remove ourselves. Is that the answer? That we just remove ourselves from life as much as possible to ease the pain? Or is it a case of we need to wake up? Now's the time. What are we going to wait another 20 years for? 30, 40, 50, 90, 100 years for? The Aquarian age, the New Age, where we can all stand there and be. But I'm hurting. unbiased. I leave you with a wish for the weekend. Grow for yourselves. See the truth. And ask yourselves questions about the present moment and what we are capable of together. And is it right that this continues?